You know, beautiful people, whenever I talk about Conor Benn, I always gotta say this. Out of all the fighters that I've met, out of everyone that I've met in the industry, Conor Benn by far is the nicest, most humble man I've ever met, to be honest. I can't lie. I've met the man twice, once here in the Middle East and once in New York. And I've talked to Conor a few times, and the man is an absolute gentleman. But let's talk about this interesting situation, you know, that happened with Eddie Hearn. He left Eddie Hearn, which was absolutely shocking for Zuffa Boxing, Dana White. You know what? I'm actually happy. You know, Eddie Hearn was this close to claiming the spot of being, without a question, the greatest promoter of all time. No question, but he sold out his legacy and his morals and everything that he stood for and his integrity to defend Conor Benn, who tested positive for PEDs twice. I love Conor, but we gotta call a spade a spade. Conor Benn tested positive for PEDs twice. And Eddie Hearn died on that hill that Conor was innocent. And you can tell, you know, the story kept changing. I don't know if you guys remember when Conor tested positive. The story changed so many times. The excuses changed so many times. But then, you know, time is the greatest healer, you know. And we forgot, you know, we forgave Conor. You know, he's young, he's, you know, family guy, lovely guy. So everybody makes mistakes. But Eddie Hearn, you know, he deserves this. I'm not gonna lie. He definitely deserves this, because he sold out everything that he stood for to defend Conor for money. He didn't defend Conor because he loved Conor Benn so much. No, he defended Conor Benn because he knew that once Conor Benn becomes reinstated as a fighter again, there is a massive payday, that not just one payday but two paydays, or potentially three at the time, with Chris Eubank Jr. You know, without a question. If Conor Benn's name was Paul James, you know, Eddie would never have defended him the way that he did. But because he's, you know, the son of a legend, got everything it takes to become an absolute superstar, undefeated, young, powerful, good-looking guy, well-spoken, Eddie Hearn sold out and started defending Conor Benn. But defended him, why? For money. And now Conor Benn got a great opportunity to make a lot of money, and he sold out Eddie Hearn. You know, that's life. That's not just in combat sports. That's in life, beautiful people. Whether you're talking about business, you know, anything and everything you can think of, what goes around comes back around. If you don't stand up for something, you're gonna fall for anything and everything. And that's the situation that happened with Conor and Eddie. Now, another thing. So all I'm saying is this. Eddie Hearn definitely deserves what happened to him. But is Conor Benn actually a traitor, you know? Is he the most loyal guy in the world? No. No. Of course not. The man, you know, in all honesty, I can't even blame the guys, because when you talk about being a pro fighter, all that matters is securing your kids and your family's future. Is because the punishment that you take, the risk that you're putting yourself in day in and day out, even in the gym. Anything can happen in this crazy sport. One punch to the head, wrong spot, wrong time, you're gone. So Conor is just trying to secure his family's future, you know, and I respect it. But another thing is you got to think about is Conor wants to be not just a superstar in the British industry, but America specifically. And once you conquer America, you basically conquer the world. And that's what Conor wants to do. He saw an opportunity to sign with Dana White. Dana White is the king in the States. You know, when you talk about combat sports, when you talk about promotion, when you talk about sports in general, forget combat sports. Dana White, nobody does it like him. But in my opinion, nobody did it like him, because now he's not really interested, you know, in promoting anything, you know. I'm a MMA guy. I started watching MMA before boxing. And Dana White, you know, not even 10 years ago, I mean 7, 8 years ago, the man was way more passionate than now. Now he doesn't even know the name of the fighters on the undercards and the UFC cards, let alone boxing. He doesn't know a single boxer, you know, that he signed. Maybe now Conor Benn, he knows his name. He knows the 2 fights that he had with Chris Eubank. But other than that, you know, he doesn't care. And I can't blame the man, you know. He conquered everything. But is this actually a good move for Conor? I don't know. Time will tell. But from what we're seeing so far, yes, of course it is. I mean, you're making nearly $20 million for one fight. Expanding your brand. Being promoted now by the UFC machine. You know, now you see Conor Benn on UFC pages, UFC websites, Zuffa Boxing, WWE social media. So, you know, WME, IMG, you know, the company that acquired WWE and UFC, now they're going to be promoting Conor Benn. Definitely 100 times greater than the promotional machine that Matchroom is. So yes, I do believe that it's a smart move and a good move for Conor, but some people are saying allegedly that it's only a 1-fight deal. Now that is strange, but I think that even if it's a 1-fight deal, from the amount of promotion that Conor will be getting, from the amount of attention and notoriety and the money and everything and anything you can think of, he's going to be like, you know what, this is where I belong. And especially if they're going to keep offering me these opportunities, I'm going to take them. And Eddie Hearn, you know, Conor doesn't owe... I mean, yes, Eddie Hearn did defend Conor in front of the world. That Conor is innocent. But that's your fault, Eddie. That's not Conor's fault. That is Eddie's fault. Eddie, you know, very charismatic man. But he's a liar. You know, he lied so many times about the Conor situation. He deserves this. And I'm happy for Conor, you know. Young guy, making millions, you know, securing his kid's future. I mean, listen, Eddie Hearn is secured. Conor is securing himself right now. Eddie is 50 years old. The man is, you know, he took his dad's company. His dad gave him his company worth nearly, I don't know, like 600, 700, they said, $1 million. So, listen, Conor got to focus on himself, and he doesn't owe anyone nothing. And especially because of that PED situation, you know, Eddie wasn't loyal to himself, to his legacy, to his reputation. So why is he shocked that a man is not loyal to another man, you know, to him? So that's basically what I think, you know. Conor Benn, go get your money, go get your notoriety, go get your kids' future. Kids' future, you know. Can't hate on it. Gotta respect it from Conor Benn. And yes, it's definitely not the best look. But who cares? Who cares, you know? As long as the man is providing for his family, that's it. That's all that matters. Go get him, Conor.